Okay, starting here at Bill Brown's house, right out here, out from his docks. It's actually my property according to the Hillsborough County Property Appraiser's Office. But yeah, you can see the vegetation is down there. It looks like 4 or 5 feet. Okay, here we are at Javier's, and you can see the vegetation down there at about 3 feet below the surface. And we have some 2 brand new residents here on the lake, and yeah, you can see it's probably about, I don't know, 4 feet below the surface. Not too bad. And here we have Jeannie Campisi's, and again, good 6 feet below the surface. And this is Dr. Ho's home. You can see it's pretty close to the surface there, but he doesn't mind it one bit. He's like most people. They do not want any chemicals. The vegetation doesn't bother them. And there's Jared and Lawrence. Looks like they're, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet below the surface. They used to have a dock. I guess they removed it. And we have Gene and Joan Pizzo and Charlie and Susie Allen. And you can see it's pretty close to the surface there next to their homes. That's because they get all the runoff from the whole neighborhood. Drains right into this pipe. Yeah, it's right there by the banana trees. There's a pipe that drains the whole neighborhood. So they'll have to do a little treatment there if they want to access the water. It will have to be a spot treatment because Mr. Lee does not want any chemicals on his property. And the same with the Civic Association. They'll have to do some spot treating. And I'm here in front of the Civic, and you can see it's just below the surface. And there's their boat ramp. You can see it down in the water too because the water's so clear. So yeah, they'll have to do a little spot treating. Here's a couple of fishermen. I might add, out here in the middle of the cove area, you can see the vegetation is well submerged. So the people that need access will simply have to get their own permit and spot treat their own areas. But it's not far. You can see how deep it is here. There's no vegetation at all out here in the middle. And we're now next to the apartments. And it's down there, but it's out of the way. You can see it's down there below 2 or 3 feet below. But you can also see how far it goes out. So this vegetation, because the water is shallower over here, it comes out hundreds of feet. And that's what we need to keep our water clean. We've got to have, not just on the shoreline, but we've got to have areas that are large areas that are populated with vegetation. Here I've come up now about 200 feet. You can see the vegetation coming up. Now I'm going in front of the condominiums, and again, it comes out quite a bit. And this portion of the lake, extending from way over there at my house all the way around to the condominiums. This was the area where we had a lot of protected vegetation called Illinois pondweed, not hydrilla. And the massive chemical application killed it all off. It was about 6 acres, and initially the association was fined $6,500. That got reduced, but that'll give you an idea of just how much vegetation got wiped out. And of course, when it did, our water visibility went from 11, 12 feet all the way down to 6 or 7 feet. It basically just ruined the whole lake for about a year. But the previous treatments did the same thing. So on and off, it's been badly damaged for about 5 years. And it's finally come back, and we have our historic water quality that Egypt Lake was known for, even back since the very first reports in 1930s. I got my first reports as a historian how clear our water was. So we basically just restored the lake to its historic clarity and quality it's always been known for. And here we are in front of Aaron and Alyssa's, and you can see they're pretty clear out here. There's some down there, but it's well below the surface. And here we're out in front of Kevin and Dina Matheny's. Again, well below the surface. And here we are in front of the Paul residence. They own both homes, or their in-laws do. Owns the one on the right. Paul's owned the one on the left. And pretty clear vegetation. And this is David Lloyd's property, and he also has pretty clear vegetation. There's the outflow canal that, in case the lake level comes up, it gives a place to escape. And that cage around there is to prevent the carp that we have stocked in the lake from escaping. And that was left open, and the association got reported for that as well. Now we're coming up on three properties owned by Oscar Westerfield, managed by his brother. Owned by Jerry Westerfield, managed by his brother Oscar. And we still really haven't recovered all of the missing vegetation. We used to have Illinois pondweed coming pretty close to the surface. It's down there, but it is not recovered. That's part of the requirements of the consent order, is to have this old zone here with 6.5 acres recovered before anything else can be done. We think it's going to be about 2 years. Let's see. And unfortunately, he looked at the vegetation as like it was a weed in his yard that needed to be killed, and that's what led to the massive chemical treatment, which resulted in a massive fine from the Hillsborough County Environmental Protection Agency. And now we're coming up on Shirley Capitano's property, and she likes the overgrowth. This is a virtual bird sanctuary. If you come through here in the morning, it is loaded with birds, and of course there's a lot of small fish that can get inside of that, and they stay protected from the big fish. Gives the little fish a chance to grow before they go out to the lake. So it's a vital part. Also gives you some privacy, I might add. You can't see her yard, but keep in mind, some people actually want that. There's her dock. myself. This is my home, and it's known as Ralston Beach Club. And you can see I got the vegetation down there just about a foot below, and so you can see it over there pretty good. Yeah, maybe see it over here a little better, but yeah, that's the Illinois pondweed, which is much better than the hydrilla because it doesn't grow as much, but it still provides all the same benefits. And there's some eelgrass down there too. And I've had that sign up for, I guess, 3 years now. Campaign against stopping the mass chemical treatments, and it finally ended last year when the association got fined. But let's see. So all I really need is the the area in front of my diving board there. So when I dive off, I'm not diving into hydrilla, so it's not much at all. And you can see it's where I parked my boat, and I'm able to get in and out of there. It's pretty high there, so I'm still able to get my boat up. Of course, outboard motor has a tilt on it, so I can tilt it up. But it's not much of a inconvenience at all compared to the quality of water we got. My goodness, top 5% in the entire state of Florida. That is something else, and that's going to keep our property value up, by the way. And these are the Beach Club apartments, and as you can see, they manage their own shoreline. They never asked the association to treat their property, and you can see they planted some intentional bulrush there. And as long as they keep the cattails, as they pop up, take them out, there's no permit needed to do maintenance. I also might add, we've had above average rainfall this year, so we still have, and that clouds up the water. That adds the nutrients and feeds the algae and everything. And even with the above average rainfall so far this year, we're keeping excellent water quality. This lot here next to the apartments is kind of like a reserved area, non-buildable. Originally it was designed for retention ponds, but back in the days when you could bribe your county commissioners, they just had the pipe straight piped from that neighborhood behind it straight into the lake. There's still room though to retrofit stormwater pipes. If you want to get real aggressive and tackle it can be done. And there's Jimmy Levine, and again he's one of those people that's very adamant against chemicals. Yeah, he's still pretty clear out here. And here's another gentleman, again, plenty clear of vegetation behind his dock. Don't look like he used his boat in a while. And here we are behind Phil and Marianne. Yeah, they're not doing too bad. Plenty of clearing there to get their boat, wave runner, whatever. And we're behind David Teresa West. It's getting up there a little bit high, close to the surface. Behind their boat here. This is their swimming area. And let's see, my sensors should be picking that up about right now. So yeah, it's still about a foot or less below. There's the Beltrams. use the lake, so it really doesn't matter. But there's about a foot below, 2 foot below. Here's Robert Ossie. Looks like, yeah, it's 1 to 2 foot below. Yeah, I can see it down there. He might need to do a little clearing there. This summer. There's the Bearers and the Dominguez. Oh, looky there, isn't that too bad? Theirs is all the way top down. Here's another Dominguez, a different Dominguez. And his is staying pretty clear out this far anyway. He doesn't use the lake, so it doesn't really make a difference. I might add, he's got quite a bird sanctuary himself. And this is Brett Fuller. He's plenty clear, that's for sure. There's a little bit coming up there towards the surface. There's the Greenwalds. Yeah, they're getting a little close about 2. Well, that's clear right there, yeah. Real clear. There's Smith. Yeah. Looks like he's pretty clear. There's Kaplan, Dr. Kaplan, foot doctor. And he's doing just fine too. And here's Joe and Julie Urso. And they're looking plenty clear. A little bit there coming towards the surface. And finally, this is the last house, John Pitcher. And we're coming up on his house right now. Of course, he likes the vegetation just like a lot of people do. And he's got a little bit there coming up towards the surface. But again, if he wants to clear out a little spot, he clears out a little spot. That's all he needs. So, in summary, there you have it. We have one of the best lakes in the state of Florida. Probably one of the best in the nation. There's just not too many lakes that have this kind of water clarity. Especially this size, where we get a lot of stormwater coming into this lake. And again, it's because we maintain the vegetation. There'll be no more mass chemical treatments that literally are wiping out 70% of the lake, and resulted in a large fine. This summer, there'll be some clearing needed certain places, but definitely not the entire lake. And we encourage people to use some of the manual methods, which I'll do on another video, using water pressure. It's pretty easy to clear your shoreline in one afternoon without chemicals. And it gets it up by the roots too. So that's one method. And if you had a larger area and you wanted to use chemicals, you're still allowed to get your own chemical permit from Hillsborough County EPC. And just for your own area, just be cautious of your neighbors. If your neighbors do not want chemicals, you got to be cautious that you don't apply any that could affect their property. Chemicals do spread, so you have to use the granulated kind, not the liquid. The granulated does settle down and doesn't spread as bad. So that's it. We'll still need to have an association, but it'll be one that is based on ecologically sound principles and modern methods of vegetation clearing, using the Fish and Game recommendations for stocking carp very gradually to make sure they don't upset this delicate balance. We do have a delicate balance right now. We got probably 30% submerged vegetation, and you can't see it unless you're out in the boat with a depth finder like I am, but it's down there, and that's what's doing it, and that becomes a problem. People can't see what's going on. That's why I made this video, so you can see all of the vegetation and how it is what's keeping our water clear. So do look forward to more videos of the vegetation clearing methods using water pressure. You can always go to the Hillsborough County EPC and get your own permit. There'll be no more permits allowed for our association for a couple of years. Part of the penalty for the fine that they got in a consent order from Hillsborough County EPC. So again, we still appreciate your participation in the association. There's a lot more to offer with our association other than just vegetation control, and we'll be elaborating more on that later. I thank you very much for your time.